Assalamualaikum. This is me, Saba TrainingWali. I'm a student of Rehan, here teacher of Training Institute. Batch number 24, level 1. Today we have sesame session on the topic the power of positive thinking, how to reframe your mindset. We have Miles. Introduce yourself, Miles.
Wa alaikum assalam. I'm Miles, laid back, sharp, and here to help you break down this mindset stuff without making it feel like a lecture. Very cool to be part of the session. Let's get into it.
Okay, my first question, what is positive thinking and why is it important in everyday life?
Like I touched on before, positive thinking isn't about wearing rose colored glasses or ignoring the facts. It's just lying to yourself. It's more of a strategy. It's the ability to look at a bad situation instead of saying, this is a disaster. You ask, okay, how do we fix this? In everyday life, that's the difference between getting paralyzed by a mistake and actually learning from it. Keeps you moving when things get messy. You know what I'm saying?
How can I reframe negative thoughts into positive ones?
It's all about the pivot. The second you catch yourself saying, I can't do this or I always mess this up, you just stop and challenge it. Ask yourself if that's actually a fact or just a feeling. Instead of this is impossible, try this is actually kind of a nightmare, but I've handled hard stuff before. You're not erasing the struggle, you're just changing the narrative so you're the one in control. You want an example of how that looks in a real situation?
What are some common negative thinking patterns and how can I overcome them?
There are a few big ones that trip people up. Uh, First, you've got all or nothing thinking, where if one thing goes wrong, you decide the whole day is a wash. Then there's catastrophizing, which is basically taking a small mistake and fast forwarding it in your head until it's the end of the world. To beat those, you have to get a bit clinical with yourself. When you feel that spiral starting, just ask, what's the actual evidence for this? Usually the evidence is pretty thin. It's about shrinking the problem back down to its actual size. Do any of those sound familiar?
How does a positive mindset
You still with me?
improve mental
I'm still
health
here.
and well being?
It basically takes the edge off the stress. When you're not spending all your energy worrying about the worst case scenario, your brain actually has room to breathe. It lowers your anxiety and stops you from burning out because you're not fighting a losing battle in your head all day. Plus, it usually makes you more resilient. So when you do hit a wall, you bounce back faster instead of staying down. It's less about being happy all the time and more about staying stable when things get wild. Does that make sense?
What are some daily habits that can help me develop a positive mindset?
Start with something small, like a quick win in the morning, something like a gratitude list, not the cheesy kind, but just naming three things that actually didn't suck. Then try thought auditing. When a negative thought pops up, treat it like a pop up ad and just close it. Also, hanging out with people who actually energize you instead of draining you makes a massive difference. You can't stay positive if your circle is a constant rain cloud. You know what I'm saying? Which one of those feels most doable for you?
How can gratitude help me think more positively?
Gratitude is basically a cheat code for your brain. It forces you to scan your environment for things that are actually working rather than just obsessing over what's broken. When you make it a habit, you're essentially retraining your mind to notice the wins, even the tiny ones, which shifts your default setting from everything is a mess to, okay, some things are actually pretty dope. It's a way of grounding yourself in what you have instead of stressing over what you're missing.
What role do affirmations play in changing my
Right,
mindset?
affirmations. They're basically like training your brain's internal dialogue. Instead of letting that inner critic run the show, you step in and give it a new script. The trick is to keep them grounded. If you tell yourself, I'm a billionaire while you're broke, your brain knows you're lying and it just ignores you. But if you say, I'm capable of figuring this out, that's something you can actually get behind. You ever tried using them before?
How do I use them during difficult times or after failure?
When things get that heavy, the usual advice can feel a bit superficial. Dealing with deep struggles for that long or seeing someone go through it is a different kind of battle. It's less about staying positive and more about just finding a way to endure and find small moments of peace. It's a lot more grounded than a simple affirmation. You're thinking about someone specific or just reflecting on that kind of long term struggle.
How does positive thinking affect relationships and communication?
I think you mean positive thinking, right? Because political thinking usually just ends up in a shouting match at Thanksgiving. If we're talking about a positive mindset, it changes everything in a relationship. It turns a conflict from you're the problem into we have a problem, let's figure it out. It makes you a better listener because you're not just waiting for them to mess up so you can be right. It just keeps the vibe a lot more collaborative and way less draining. And you notice that in your own life or maybe with people around you?
Can changing my mindset improve my confidence and self esteem?
Absolutely. Confidence isn't something you're just born with, it's a muscle you build. When you train your mindset to stop the constant self sabotage and start acknowledging your wins, your self esteem naturally climbs. It's basically moving from, I hope I'm good enough to, I've got this, and if I don't, I'll figure it out. Once you stop being your own harshest critic, you start taking more risks and actually trusting yourself. Do you feel like your inner critic is usually the one calling the shots?
What are some practical exercises to train my brain to think positively?
One of the best ways is to flip. Basically, whenever you have a negative thought, you force yourself to find one plausible positive alternative, not a fake one, but something that could actually be true. Like if you think my boss hates me because they didn't reply to my email, you flip it to they're probably just underwater with their own work. Then there's evidence journaling. Uh, every time you feel a surge of self doubt, um, write down one piece of concrete evidence that proves you're capable. It's a lot harder for your brain to lie to you when you're looking at a list of facts. And honestly, just taking a walk without your phone, getting out of your own head for 20 minutes can reset the whole vibe. Does one of those sound more your speed than the others?
How can I stop comparing myself to others and focus on my own growth?
The comparison trap is a nightmare because you're usually comparing your behind the scenes footage to everyone else's highlight reel. The shift happens when you start treating your own progress like a competition with who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Focus on your own small wins, the stuff only you know you've improved on. Once you start valuing your own trajectory more than someone else's destination, the noise just starts to fade out. Does that feel like a shift you can actually make, or does the comparison still feel automatic?
What is one simple action I can start today to build a more positive and growth focused mindset?
Go for the 5 minute win. Pick one thing you've been putting off, something small like cleaning a desk or sending an email, and commit to it for just 5 minutes. Once you start, the friction disappears and you get that immediate hit of, oh, I actually did it. Wrap this up.
Thanks for giving me your time, Miles. Now our session is going to end. Take care.